But yeah, so for those tuning into the recording, welcome in to the last session. Can't believe I'm saying this. This really did fly by very quickly. But yeah, so today's session is going to be a full Q&A. If you guys have any questions about anything that we've done in the past. Oops, stop streaming. About anything that we have done in the past. And then some guidelines that I have for you guys moving forward, at least what I think you guys should focus on. And also the giveaway. Give it a minute. If you guys just think of any questions that you guys have, I mean, about anything in the bootcamp, right? No matter what week it was, something that you want some more clarification on, just think of that and then start typing them up in chat. In the meantime, I'm just filling in the names for the giveaway. And remember, guys, you do get a double entry if you post the same testimonial on WAP. So you can just literally copy paste whatever you wrote. If you want to get that in before I roll. I don't have contracts on crypto, by the way. I just have commons. I just bought Coinbase at an average of around 149. That's all. Well, I didn't get the chance to add any calls, although I wanted to, but intraday I just had no sign of execution and I wasn't going to add the day prior on the breakdown day. Oh, my puts? Maybe, yeah. I don't have much though. I just have a role on MU and 1/10 of NVIDIA left. So just like two runners, I think, on NVIDIA and a role on MU. So I'm basically back to cash. You guys know what's so sad? There's some guy who joined the free Discord and decided to leave a review of 1 star on WAP with 2 different accounts, just hating on it. Not much to offer. This Discord only exists to sell a $2,000 paid course. Incorrect. First of all, the course isn't even $2,000. Secondly, the free Discord was open way before I launched the bootcamp. People just love to hate for no reason. Yeah, I can't because I see the emails. I think I noticed it kind of through a bit of a loop. I think I matched it with like a Discord account or something like that. I don't remember. And yeah, I don't think I can do anything to kind of remove it. Oh, I can report it. I didn't know that. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. Yeah, I'm gonna report him. I don't know I could do that. But yeah, so let me just see. Is there anyone else that's still putting in a testimonial? Or should I go ahead and roll the wheel? I'm gonna share my screen as well while I do that. But yeah, just checking in. If you are, just send a message in the live chat so I can wait till you're done. Yeah, go ahead. I'll wait. I'll add your name. Just let me know. Is it gonna be a double? Wait. So are you gonna? Should I include your name? Just once. Okay. For sure. I think that must be it then, since there's no one else in the live. Let me just double check and make sure I have everyone in. It doesn't have to be anything professional for the video. It could just be through your phone camera, like just a 30-second video. Even 20 will do. I can, if you're gonna record one, I can add your name for another entry. Then you can send it after. Okay, I'll add your name then. So that's 3 entries for you. Anyone else? Last call. Yeah, for sure, brother. For sure. All right, let me go ahead and switch over then. All right, you guys can see it. It's the first time I use this, so I don't know how it works. So I get to shuffle it, and then I think I click here to spin. So the first one is just gonna be a shuffle, guys. No one's gonna win when I click this now, okay? It's just for the shuffle. Should we give it another shuffle? What are we saying? Let's give it 2 more shuffles, I think. 1, 2. Okay. Now we're gonna click the first spin, and that's gonna be... Hold on, let me just go to the announcements. Should we do the second, the one-on-one call first, or the lifetime pass first? What do you guys think? Second? Okay. This is gonna be for the one-on-one call, not the lifetime, okay? Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Okay, I will be. You get the one-on-one call. Now for the lifetime pass. Should we shuffle it? I'm thinking we should shuffle. Shuffle or no shuffle, guys? What are we saying? Let's go. 3 shuffles, okay? 1, 2, 3. Alright, here we go. This is for the lifetime pass and the one-on-one call. Here goes nothing. Oh, that was the last call. Congratulations. That was so close. Mooch, you got it. Deserved, without a doubt. I'll go ahead and message you just to make sure that we have all that settled. But yeah, there we go. That's the giveaway. And I haven't read through the testimonials yet, but I really do appreciate all of you guys putting in a message. It really does go a long way. I'm definitely going to be looking back through them and really taking some lessons from them. If you guys left any constructive feedback, and for all of those that was great feedback, I really do appreciate them. So much love for all that. But yeah, so back to the session. Do you guys have any questions about anything specific from the past? Yeah, congratulations, buddy. You deserved it, without a doubt. All right, if you guys don't have any questions, then just a few kind of tips that I can give you guys for moving forward. Oh wait, you guys have questions? Okay, go ahead. please guys, don't hesitate if you do have any question. Even if it's going to take me an hour to explain, go ahead and ask it. Yeah, so in regards to gaps, right, bull gaps and bear gaps, I like to keep it simple. Let me switch over my screen. So in regards to gaps, it's very, very simple, right? I don't like to overcomplicate things. To me, gaps are very simply support and resistance. Cool? Cool. So what I mean by that is a bull gap, I treat it just as if it's any other demand zone slash support level. And a bear gap is a supply zone slash resistance level. Very simply put. So if I see price is gapping up, right, and we have an unfilled gap, let's just say from 688 up into 700, this is a gap. Right, now two things I'm gonna look out for. One, I'm gonna look for this to be held if I'm looking to trade longs. So what I want is, I want to see price pull into it and find some sort of higher low. Right, to me, I don't like to deep it and think, okay, I need the full gap fill. The full gap fill would be more ideal, but any sort of test into it, I'm looking to buy if I see price action that I like. Just like if this was a demand zone, right, then I'm looking to buy longs out of this area if I see the behavior that I want. Or if it was a support level, it's the same thing. Ideally though, price does pull into it, right, the deeper the better until we fill the gap. That's the first way of using it, as simply a demand zone slash support level. The second way is actually when going short, right? You guys know when a supply zone, when a demand zone is lost and you're looking to go short, then you want to see that flip, right? An SR flip. So that means if price is not holding above it and I'm looking to go short, right, I don't want to short it up here. I want to short it when it's lost and it's tested into as supply, right? Previous support here, now turned into resistance, and I can use that to base my risk. A bear gap is the same exact thing, right? If I have a gap that is above me, so I just say price is now gap down, right, and formed this bear gap here, right? Actually, I'll just make the gap look. Now to go short, right, I don't like going short down here, because what can happen is price needs to move back to fill the gap, right? So I'm not going to be buying my puts down here. Instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait for price to push back up, right, and get rejected either out of there. Maybe it goes and fills the gap, and then I get out of sellers out of there, right, and then it continues lower. But essentially, I'm looking for this to act as a supply zone, right, or as resistance. And if I want to be long this name, then I want to see this bear gap flipped as support and held, right? So previous resistance has now turned into support, and I can base my risk off of that. That's as simple as it gets. That's essentially how I use them. I don't like to be, as I said, very, very picky with my gaps, as in I need to see the exact gap fill. If it's $1 off, I can't trade it. Instead, right, I'm gonna still look to attempt a short out of that. For example, this test here into this bear gap, right, from back here, this acted as resistance, If you're being so picky and you just wanted that extra $2, right, you would have missed it, this sell at least, which initially did go back to fill the gap. So bear gaps, supply zone, resistance level, bull gaps, demand zone, support level. Finally, sorry, friend who thought you do fair value gaps. When I explained to her I use gaps, I realized that they are the same cons. The same except the FVGs have the fast candle and price wants to return to the area to fill before moving on. Yeah, essentially they are very similar. I've never used fair value gaps, but I believe they are very similar, yeah. So if there's a bear gap above me, then I'm more fearful of going long into that because the bear gap is likely me going long into resistance. And if there's a bull gap right below me, then I'm more fearful of buying shorts into that bull gap because that's more likely to act as support or demand. I much rather wait for that to flip. There are also times when the gap isn't respected. What are things you look out for signals whether it's a valid entry or not ideal? So I'm just looking for price action behavior at this spot right here. That's if I'm looking to go short, right? I want to see behavior right there that's bearish. That's all. So whether that's a slight increase in sell bars, right? Maybe on the lower time frames, I see some bearish wicks. I see some larger sell bars, right? Anything that tells me that this is bearish. So for example, no volume off of this low. Buyers weren't interested. Instead of just a low volume grind up and then volume popped in and we got a bearish rejection. That's my confirmation that this gap will likely hold, at least more likely than not. And then same thing happens vice versa here. I'm gonna look for bullish lower time frame action out of the gap so I can attempt this with higher volume coming in to buy this up. I've seen it do it on the daily. It's a pain in the ass sometimes to do it on the hourly. Yeah, I mean, I'm mostly marking them out on the hourly. But yeah, I mean, it works across all time frames. Yep. What do you need with song? Okay, I see what you're saying. So for example, in INTC, you're kind of marking levels from all the way back here in 2013. In that regard, personally, I don't really watch this action from back here, right? Unless there was really a massive impulsive move, right? Like for example, this level is very, very important because it was the 2008 bottom, right? We obviously know that that was a very, very massive pivotal point in the markets, right? But 2013, nothing that I can remember. So I wouldn't just look at it. I just focus on this. Like this is what matters to me. So I wouldn't zoom that far out back. Especially as an options trader, right? And someone that is more focused with some shorter time frame and shorter term moves, then I would much rather be focused on these little kind of levels than all the ones at the back. So I'm with you there, but so every time I work out, the more recent price stalls out at a level way back in the past. Honestly, I've never paid attention to the stuff in the past. Should I be paying attention to it? I don't think so. I don't see why I should. I don't think there are that liquidity from back here, right, isn't as valid as liquidity from back here, right? Like there are a lot more participants that have bought the dip here, right, and set their stop right below this, than participants that have bought price here and set the stop right below it. You get what I'm trying to say? So this level will be more important because there's just going to be more liquidity sitting at it since it's more recent. That's the only way that I can really make sense of that. It could also just be that it's coincidence that price is stalling at a level from the past. So don't always think that there must be a reason behind this. Sometimes it can just be coincidence. Yeah, no, it's a good question for sure. But personally, me, I've never paid attention to price action that's that old. Unless, for example, like I mentioned, it was a very pivotal moment in the chart. Like, for example, you look at silver, right? We all know that silver had this very, very pivotal and important level at 50, right? Which acted as resistance here and here. So this was certainly pivotal. I would be paying attention to it, even though it was all the way back from 2011. But something like INTC, right? Where I zoom out that far back in 2013, I don't see anything that really matters. This, although in 2008, maybe I'd pay attention more to it, right? I didn't even know this had this crazy of a move in 2000s. I just remembered how old this company is. Wow, it hasn't made a new high since. That's crazy. Yeah, I wouldn't look that far in the back. I personally never have. Could you go over the way you like to add in a momentum slash strength moves? Yeah, yeah, we can do that. So in regards to energy, right? The on Zom, I unfortunately wasn't able to add back. So my initial trades were there were multiple. Let's not talk about those from back here. Let's talk about the more relevant ones. So my last position that I remember really adding into was on this day here. So that was the starter right there. Took some, I added back down in this gap here, and then I trimmed that. If you guys remember me explaining that, and then we pulled back here, and what I was looking to add was on this day here. So essentially what I was looking for is to trade this breakout. I just wanted to see just some more consolidation, right? Just another down day, and I was willing to buy this because we just had a lot of volatility, down 6%, up 5.5%. I was thinking, okay, volatility is going to contract, we're going to get some sideways action, I'm going to look to buy that, right? I was looking to add into strength here as I got this confirmation from back here. Up here, as this name broke out, I'm personally not really interested in it anymore, right? A lot of times, like I said, I like to treat roll opportunities as new trades. Just because I made X amount of profit in the last trade doesn't mean I've earned the right to reattempt this, right? To me, this is not a good add entry. This one up here was certainly slightly better because we actually got 3 days of consolidation, but it was still a bit too aggressive of an entry. But for example, if I look at XLE, this one was also a good entry up here. But I mean, yeah, this was basically the same chart. Let me think of another example. Oxy, this was one that I still haven't gotten an add-on, although I do want one. With my first entry being on this bar here, right? And I took my gains on this move. That's what I capitalized on. And then from there, I was simply waiting for, so this initial leg up is done, right? We got this wide bar that I didn't want to buy into. My next opportunity is going to be when this bar, right, around these highs are taken out and they're flipped as support, right around this level, which is what we got around here. We kind of got this add opportunity here, but again, too much volatility, and I wanted to see it contract some more, which we didn't get. But then we pulled back, right? And then we got a sign of strength here and here, and that's where I was looking to buy it, but unfortunately I did not. And then again on Tuesday of this week, on the undercut of the previous day low, for again another just simple momentum continuation, right? So essentially, if I'm trading a breakout, right? So just say we have this base, right? And we have a resistance level around here. My goal is to be positioned down here, right? Let's just say this is price. My goal is to buy it down here, right? And catch this initial leg. Once I catch the initial breakout, right? And let's just say I made 10 grand on this, right? This initial leg. Now what I'm looking to do is, for example, take 2 grand and roll it on an opportunity where we get this, just some sideways action and continuation. So I'm just looking for continuation setups out of there. So pullbacks with volume declining, right, and higher on the initial breakout. And I'm looking to get long either on this undercut or on this breakout and catch that. So I'm kind of more flexible with my add up here, right? and I'm always going with slightly shorter expiration on this move here, right? But also smaller size. So essentially, I'm more leveraged in that way than in down here. And then it works the same way on a momentum move lower. It's hilarious because you've been so chill and measured because of the curriculum. Now you're teaching normal speed. I actually thought I was being a bit too fast in my teachings during the curriculum. Yeah, I hope I wasn't too fast. But I mean, I made sure to check in, and most people were saying the pace was good, so. So usually I'll get full size on the initial like down here, right? This, I might try to be long here than long here. This would be an S tier setup, let's just say, and this would be an A. So let's just say here, if I'm putting, let's just say 30% of my account, up here maybe I'll do 25%, right? But usually I'll just risk slightly more on this attempt down here. But also depends on how this sets up, right? Like for example, if this was a 10-day pullback with a lot of constructive price action and kind of a base on the hourly that I can trade off of, then yeah, I'll take full size on that. But if it's more of an aggressive entry, let's just say instead of a 10-day pullback, we just get a 3-day pullback, then I'm not going to size heavy on that. So it all depends on chart to chart. No worries. So if I find myself retrospectively seeing something like, oh, that was a 21 tap or an 8-day tap, but while the action is happening, it's not that obvious. Yeah, by the way, that's one thing that a lot of traders don't know is that whenever you are backtesting, the EMAs look like they were tapped, but when it's actually live, sometimes it isn't. I can't, let me try to think of an example. Like, for example, maybe on this day back here, I'm not sure. The EMA looks like it was tapped so perfectly on this day, right? But it's actually because the next day it pulled price down, so the EMA followed. But if you replay it, I don't know if this is gonna work. Maybe not. I need to find a better example for this. But I don't think you guys need to be confused with that for now. So I know you don't put a lot of weight on the EMAs, but can you go through an undercut entry and what you look like? Okay, so with that, I looked on the day and that maybe dropped up. Yeah, the perfect example of that is actually Johnson and Johnson. I have on my white charts. Right here. This is what it would look like. And so the way that it would work is I'm not buying the initial day down, right? No. I'm watching for a bid off the lows, right? That's how an undercut works. So if you go down to the hourly, in this chart, for example, I would have maybe attempted it on this reclaim here, right? Or definitely on this reclaim here. On that one, down here, any sort of sweep, I'm buying calls down here and looking for the reversal into close. Right, I'm not buying it up here. I'm buying it down here and looking for a reversal into close. Same thing with here. You see that sweep right there. That's where I'm looking to buy. Down here, this one would have been a bit more tricky. But yeah, I would have tried it on this bar, right? I'm not gonna be a hindsight trader. I would have tried it here, probably got sold the next day, but then re-added on this kind of reclaim. Some of those would be sort of stop out and multiple tries. Yeah, which are most of my trades, by the way. It's just the way that I'm personally comfortable with, which is why it's so important to scale in and out and not be a one lot trader. And sometimes it might even work on the first try. Yeah, I mean, I could have been that guy on silver, right? Who tried it here, here, and here, right? Loss, 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 and then gave up. But the way that especially mean reversions work is that the more that price gets extended, the better the setup becomes. So I can't just try here and here, stop out, stop out, stop out, and then when I get an even better opportunity, I say to myself, no, I've lost enough, let me stop. Personally, I don't like doing that. So instead, I'll be taking smaller attempts, and then adding as they work. And that's why it's also important to think about trades and setups or trades and ideas as two separate things, right? A lot of people like to think that one setup equals one trade. No, one setup equals multiple attempts. And with one of those attempts likely being the final one, right, which either you take a loss on and the idea becomes invalid, or you take the last trade and it does play out in your favor. Does that make sense? That's kind of how I approach it. Long as the thesis is not valid, be picky with you try to save yourself. Yeah, spot on. That basically explains it. Yeah, that it's also kind of a double-edged sword because that sometimes does tend to happen even with me. But I'd rather you just gotta choose kind of or try to find some sort of balance, right? Which is to be really focused on the ideas when they are ready, right? But to also be slightly open-minded to new ones, right? Because if you're closed-minded, then you can't exchange ideas and think about others. So you really want to find that sweet spot that you're comfortable with. And that's a big part of trading, right? You need to find a sweet spot or a balance spot that works best for you, which might be different than mine and different to another trader, right? It's all about knowing what works best for you, right, in regards to your personality and your goals and sticking to that. Yeah, I know that feeling. All right. If not, if you guys don't have any more questions, much you can just DM me. Once you do figure out what they were, and I'll answer them. But yeah, so let me go ahead and wrap up the bootcamp then. As you guys know, right, you guys have access to me in my DMs. If you guys really are stuck at a certain time, right, you guys want some sort of help, some support, you guys can always reach out to me at any time. Just DM me on Discord, and I'll do my best to answer once I get the chance. I will also be leaving this Discord server open for the near future, just so that you guys can stay in touch with one another, although I suggest adding each other. So you guys can keep using this as an area, or sorry, as an area to bounce ideas with one another, keep each other accountable, right, and make sure that you guys are all sticking to the plan and to whatever you need to do to continue to move forward. I also do suggest going back and rewatching a lot of the recordings, especially if there was something that you didn't understand or you just want some sort of refresher. Even if you can watch them all back, right? You can speed it up, put it at 1.5x, 2x, and just kind of skim through them. It's always good to kind of rewatch a few things, right? Whatever it is, even if it's a book, for example, I like to reread a book just to make sure that I got every piece of it. Same thing with a movie, right? I like to rewatch a movie twice, sometime after, just so I can make sure I kind of got all the points. So I do suggest doing that. And then you guys also have the slideshows, of course. But yeah, I really, really do hope that you guys did learn greatly from the bootcamp. I'm really happy with how it went. I'm really happy with how I've seen some of you progress, although others were more quiet, which is fine. Not talking to you guys specifically because you guys are clearly in here. It's usually the same faces. Some others didn't really join up much, but that's also fine. I understand that everyone has a bit busy schedule. But yeah, I wish you guys all the best on your trading careers moving forward. And I really, really do hope that this bootcamp did have a large impact on your trading and where you're going to end up going from here. Also, keep an eye if you guys are still interested in staying in touch with me and in the products that I'm launching in the future. As I mentioned, I am launching something kind of late spring, maybe early summer, depending on when it's ready, where it's going to be essentially a trading accelerator, which is a boot camp on steroids through a recorded course with weekly live streams and some live trading to go with it. More details on that soon. I don't want to sell you guys anything, but you guys will also get in at a big discount since you guys are already bootcamp members. You just have to DM me, and I'll hook you up with a promo code. But more on that later. You guys will find it announced on my Twitter or on the free Discord, which as of now I am not really on because I've just been so locked in on my reads and I want that to be my focus. Also to be fully energized here with you guys and make sure you guys get my full attention and energy. But yeah, that pretty much wraps it up. Again, I'm really, really proud of you guys for tuning in every day. I know it was a long month and I know it takes it's difficult to tune in every day for an hour and to really give a lot of attention and focus towards this. So if you did that, I'm proud of you. That was a lot of work. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Again, I wish you guys the best. You guys can always reach out to me to my DM. You guys can just DM me on this Discord, and I'm always open for a chat. I'm always open to bounce ideas. And I'm always there for you guys if you guys ever need some sort of support. Whether it comes to specific kind of technical areas in trading, or if you guys are just in a slump and you guys just need some feedback, some advice, someone to talk to, please do reach out to me. Don't stay alone in trading. It can take a toll on your mental health. It did definitely for me, especially towards the start of my career. I've had quite a few mental slumps where I just couldn't get out of them and I didn't know what to do. And I really don't want you guys to go through that. So please, if you are struggling with your trading, right, you can always talk to me and message me at any time, just here on my Discord account. But yeah, thank you guys. Thank you. And thank you for the testimonials as well. I will be reading them after the stream. But yeah, so have a great rest of your Saturday, guys. And I'll catch you guys soon. I might do an kind of a stream maybe sometime in the future, just in here, just to check in with everyone. But you guys will get an announcement about that. So yeah, so enjoy the rest of your Saturday, guys, and we'll speak soon. You guys know where to find me, my Twitter and this Discord account. Thank you guys, and goodbye, everyone.